What would you say if I told you that the biggest surprise in this movie is that there's a version of Doctor Strange with a ponytail? What would you do? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, released in 2022 and is directed by Sam Raimi, who has also directed such films like The Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Drag Me to Hell, and the original Spider-Man trilogy. And this film is starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Wong, Zachary Gomez, and Rachel McAdams. And it may or may not have a bunch of cameos from a bunch of actors that you've seen before in other Marvel movies and Marvel properties, and a bunch of other people that fans have fan casted in other roles. Yeah. Doctor Strange is still coping with the fact that he allowed half of the universe to be wiped away for 5 years, and the burden of that reality that it was the only choice at the time is still weighing heavily on him. Plus, he's having to reacclimate himself to the world that he left behind, and seeing a long-lost love, Christine, being married off to someone else. But then out of the blue, a one-of-a-kind superhero shows up in his universe called America Chavez, who has the ability to open up different dimensions and travel through the multiverse. But she is being chased by a scary ass demon, so Doctor Strange enlists the helps of Wanda Maximoff to help him take care of this kid and battle the demon who is after her. I have to tell you, this is a very hard plot synopsis to give to all of you without spoiling anything. I'm pretty sure I did a really good job. All that stuff that I just said was in trailers and previews. But there's so much more in this movie that you have not seen and that you don't know what's going down. And it's a really fun watch seeing all of these different cameos and different surprises that happen in here. And I don't want to take that away from you. It's called the Multiverse of Madness. So you know that there's going to be a lot of cool special things and fun things in here. It's just a lot of fun. And a lot of the fun that I had in this movie was from the director, Sam Raimi. They've talked about in MCU films before about how they wanted to incorporate horror elements and they want this to be a horror movie. That is absolutely true with this film. Marvel has finally made a horror picture. Are there superhero and MCU type qualities about this movie? Oh, absolutely. There are sections in here where, oh yeah, that was from this other movie. We've seen this stuff before. This is Marvel. But a lot of this movie is pure Sam Raimi horror goodness. You have the camera being its own character, kind of swooping in up close and doing an extreme close-up on our characters. Cameras rotating and doors closing. Possessed women that are just drenched in slime and in blood coming down a hallway at you. And if you've seen Army of Darkness with both Ashes going after each other and you had the dead version, we basically have that dead version in this movie. It does get to a point where the Sam Raimi style is in here, and I applaud it. I love that, hey, this is a director with a style, and Marvel Studios is actually allowing the director to bring in their style. That is awesome. It gets to a point, though, where it's comedically overdone. There are horror elements, there are jump scares, there are terrifying imagery in this film. When you get to the climax is almost like, hey, here's all the Sam Raimi stuff that you love from Evil Dead thrown on the screen. And I'll be honest, I chuckled and I kind of had a little eye roll that I was like, okay, we're taking a little bit too far. Now you're just recreating the Evil Dead here in this film. But you know what? Oh, okay, it's different. It is great though seeing Sam Raimi back in the director's chair of a superhero film. The original Spider-Man trilogy, regardless about how you feel about the third one, is so iconic and is so important to a superhero fan's love of the superhero genre. Those films are so important. So it's nice to see how things kind of left off at the end of Spider-Man 3, having him come back into another Marvel project. It puts a smile on my face. And kudos needs to go to this movie for our two top billed actors, Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen. I think those two give tremendous performances. And not just like, oh, hey, I'm cool, I'm the superhero type performance. No, we get into emotional rawness with these two. It's easy to say this film is about the multiverse and doing a bunch of cameos and a lot of special effects shots. And yes, it does have those things, but this film is about mental health. This film is about depression. This film is about you accepting how you feel and not just putting up a front because that's how you should be acting and behaving when other people are around you. This film is about you accepting how you feel. If you feel angry, if you feel sad, if you feel regret, it's okay to feel those things. It's not safe to repress those feelings. Basically, this film was a great advertisement for therapy. If you are someone that struggles with depression, struggles with anything, and you just need to talk to someone to listen to you, reach out to a trained professional therapist. This film is a great living example of the reason why you need to do that. And Elizabeth Olsen, I am so happy for her, allowing herself to finally become the Scarlet Witch in this film, because they've said, like, oh, she's the Scarlet Witch in all these other films, Age of Ultron, Civil War, both Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. We finally saw glimpses of her being the actual Scarlet Witch at the end of WandaVision, at the end of the Disney Plus series. Here, this is the Scarlet Witch from the comics. This is the Scarlet Witch that can change things in this dimension at the mere will of just a thought that she has. She's the most powerful character in the whole Marvel universe, in the comics and in the films, and in the previous 6 iterations, 6 different projects that she's been a part of before this film, she's been depowered. She has been held back. We don't get that here. She is the end-all be-all, I am the most powerful being in the universe character in this film. And it makes me so frickin' happy, because there is a shift between Wanda Maximoff and the Scarlet Witch, and you can see her going back and forth between the two, almost kind of like what we've been getting with the last 6 weeks in Moon Knight with the two characters there. It's the same thing here. What they give her to do in this movie, if you're a Scarlet Witch fan, you are going to be so happy. And I like that they show the evil side of her, because at the end of WandaVision, she realized that, hey, I've been doing bad things. I've been torturing all of these people for so long. And now everything is broken and everything's turned off. Bye! Oh, we're not going to go after her and question her for all the torture that she just gave to all these people? We're not going to do that? Okay. The spirit animal of the MCU, Benedict Wong, is in this film playing Wong. And he's just my favorite. He's the best, and he's awesome in this movie. Again, I love him. And shockingly and surprisingly, the role of Christine, played by Rachel McAdams, has a big part to play in this movie. She's not portrayed as just some side piece love interest that she was in the original film. It's basically like, why is she there? There's no point to her being here other than, like, oh, Doctor Strange had a fling once. Here, she has purpose. She actually does things in this film, and it makes me so happy. I've seen some criticism about the script and the pacing of this film not being up to par like other Marvel films, and I feel that the pacing was fine. I was entertained, and there were points where it slowed down, but it made sense to slow down, and then when we got to those horror elements, I was entertained. I will agree with the criticism on the plot and the MacGuffins, the things that we're going after in this film. We're going after a couple of books, and like one person's going after one book, and then Doctor Strange is going after another book, and then that other book, it's like, oh, well, I don't need that book. I need the other book that the other person's going after. So it was like, why go after that book in the first place when you could just have gone after that one for the whole time? There's a lot of plot holes in the film when it comes to the MacGuffin and the problem, the main conflict that we're going after here. You can tell that there were a couple of reshoots and a couple of shots in here that were inserted in to give explanations as to why we weren't just in a certain place at a certain point. Like, oh, the thing is up there. Why didn't we just teleport up there? Why did we just teleport here? And then they give some BS answer like, oh, well, my magic doesn't get up there. That's why. Oh, sure, fine, reasons. But I had a great time with this film. It's a great time at the movies. I love seeing the progression of these characters. It makes me want to see the next chapter with these characters. If we get next chapters of these characters, and the cameos, the special people that come in, it puts a smile on your face, and it's a huge fist pump moment, and you're like, yeah, I wanted that person to be that person, I wanted this person to be in here, and here they are. Oh yeah. I'm gonna give Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. And the next one comes as a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my contributors on this channel, Zachariah Kennison. You recommended the film The Sentimental Swordsman. Looks to be a 70s samurai film that, of course, I've never heard of before or seen, but, you know, I love me some samurai films, so we'll check it out next time. So guys, if you've seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, what did you think about it? Where does it fall in your ranking of all of the MCU films and TV shows that have been released over the many years? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of The Sentimental Swordsman. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.